Oh, there is a... Ah! Okay, an ant just bit my belly. I don't know what that forebodes for this video. It's not starting out very well. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Kika and today we're going to talk about how you can get more engagement on your Instagram stories. Now, it is year 2019, so I think most people have figured out that in order to be successful on Instagram, you kind of need to have a little bit of a curated grid, and it can't just be random and this and that. When it comes to stories, that is really the place where you can show more of the raw side and maybe more casual things that you don't want to sort of show on your feed. And I think people really like that more sort of human-to-human connection and maybe personal and more deep stuff that you can show on stories. Today I want to share some tips that I've tried and tested and noticed what has sort of worked for me, and just to give you like a bit of inspiration and some motivation to put a little bit more effort into your Instagram stories, because I can assure you, if you have fun when you make your stories, people watching them will too. And if you just put that a little bit more effort, and if it's creatively stimulating for you when you make your stories, the engagement will come, and then, you know, that will lead to more engagement also on your posts and your account, and then it will just take off from there and lead to growth. And, you know, that is, I guess, what we ultimately, most of us, want. So if you're ready for it, let's get to the tips. Alrighty, tip number one is moving imagery. So the word out on the street in 2019 is that video is becoming more and more popular, and that's sort of where we are all headed. And I've definitely found the same on Instagram stories. Whenever I post a video as opposed to a still image, it tends to do a little bit better. And I will share a secret. The type that does the best definitely is when I am in front of the camera like this and speaking directly. And I know that can feel a little bit scary and uncomfortable, and some people don't sort of want to have their face in front of the camera. But you know, I think that's a shame, because it's really a way to connect deeper with people and share some thoughts and just be maybe, you know, a little bit more personal. And you'll probably see that it's really not that scary if you do it. And some practical tips if you decide to go ahead with this. First of all, it's a good idea to try to stabilize your phone instead of having it, you know, in your hand. Sometimes that is fine, but if you watch 10 stories with very shaky footage, it's really annoying and you'll probably get distracted from whatever the person is trying to say. So invest in a little selfie stick, or just, you know, stabilize your phone somewhere. Secondly is to try to keep it quite short and sweet. So maybe think about what you want to say in your story first and maybe rehearse it a little bit. Because again, watching, you know, 10 stories and the person not coming to like the point can also be quite tedious and feel a little like, all right, you know, come on, get to the point. And thirdly, to put subtitles on, because, you know, some people, maybe they're in a place where there's a lot of people around and they can't have sound on Instagram, the stories. So just put a little subtitle, a little caption, what you're sort of saying. That will just make it more inclusive for everyone. Share a tip. Think about how you could provide some value and maybe share a tip in a story. So if there's an area that you know a lot about, why not do a story about that? The likelihood is that if you've struggled with something, and then you sort of found the answer, maybe somebody else has also, and that could really help them. I sometimes try to share some photo tips or some Instagram tips, and, you know, I believe that the more we share the knowledge and like sort of this whole abundance idea, and I think that will just sort of send out some positive vibes into your community and into the universe, and that will just result in higher engagement and just overall like more positive vibes around your account. Using the questions and poll stickers. it is good to remember that Instagram is a social media platform, which means, you know, it's about being social and interacting with people and not all the time just showcasing what you are doing and here's this and here's that. But if you can actually invite people to come and interact with you and maybe asking people's opinions, maybe for their advice if you have something that you're thinking about, and there the poll and the question stickers are very, very good tools to do that. And I think often actually when I've even done like captions on Instagram, the more I sort of ask questions, the more people will also open up and share their knowledge or their thoughts. Something is again, oh my god, like this again. Ants in my pants now as well. They are like, this ant does not like Instagram stories or does not like my YouTube channel. Okay, I think the ant was the signal that we should move on to the next tip. There are some ants in this tree as well. Okay, but they are smaller at least. Do a behind the scenes story. I think as creative people, we're always really interested in seeing somebody else's process. So being able to access that and seeing a little bit of how that person came to the end result that we usually will see on the Instagram grid is a really powerful way, again, to just show people into your world a little bit more and connect with them on a more intimate level. Some ways to do this is, for example, using the time-lapse function. That's great to sort of speed it up, especially if it's something that is very visual, so that's very like just pleasing to look at in a story. Or then doing like some photos along the way and maybe explaining how you did something and sharing again some tips and giving some value. Or, you know, sometimes I've also used the rewind function. That's a really fun way to sort of, when you've done something and then you're maybe gonna tidy it away or something, using the rewind can result in some really, really visually interesting stories. I think behind the scenes stories are also a really generous way of, you know, sharing knowledge, and they can be quite entertaining and even educational for people to get some tips and some inspiration and maybe seeing, you know, how somebody else does it, and that can inform in their own work or in their own process and help us again all get better and develop. Ooh, hello little auntie. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, 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 hello. Can you see that? The ants are my friends. Bye-bye. And my last tip is to be authentic. If you have fun when you're making your stories, for sure your audience will have more fun as well. I think it can be easy to get into this, you know, overthinking it and how will it look and what should I do. And even though I gave you all these tips, I think the most important is just to, you know, stay true to yourself and the things that come naturally and the things that you have, you know, enjoy making. Those are the things that you should put in your stories, and that's the things that will resonate with people. Every time I have had an idea that came from a very sort of spontaneous place and that I was really genuinely excited about, those are all the, you know, ideas that really resonated with people and were successes. People, I failed! No! And, you know, of course we can't have like those kind of ideas all the time, but I think it's important to still try to find that authentic voice and your thing and your style, and that is really the way, you know, that will lead to more just satisfaction and creatively be more fun and stimulating. And yeah, so if there's anything sort of that I want to leave you with is that just try to be really true to the things that you want to stand for and the values and what you want to give, and how you could, you know, figure that out in also your, I guess, in your social media online presence. Over and out. Thank you so much for hanging out with me here in the Finnish archipelago and for watching this video. I hope you got some inspiration and some ideas from these tips. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on Instagram stories. Do you enjoy making them? Do you enjoy watching them? And if you like this video, then give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. That would mean the world to me. I try to now make these videos really weekly, and you know, I enjoy doing this YouTube stuff so much because I can just share more knowledge and I feel be more me with you guys. Alright, see you next time. Bye! No, don't see you next time. Mention that I have an Instagram that is Kika. Come hang out there. Now, see you next time. Bye!